Hey folks, I was watching the news this morning. They were talking about SNL. I don't know much about it anymore because I don't watch it, and I'm sure many of you don't either based on their ratings. But they really went off on this gun control issue. Now, you could tell that they were given the same talking points that many in Congress used because a lot of their facts were not facts. They were just kind of talking points and really assumptions and really just jabs at the Second Amendment. The same stuff we've all heard. It's nothing new. I was kind of shocked that they don't use comedians to read the news anymore. They just like use regular guys. But these two guys really went off. And I want to play a little bit of that for you so you can see how unhinged these guys are. But I also want to address that afterwards. So let's watch some of the video.
It's an issue. The guy had 47 guns. No one should own 47 of anything. If you own 47 cats, you are not a responsible pet owner. You're a crazy cat lady. And unlike with guns, the government will actually come and take your cats away because everyone agrees that's insane. Also, this guy bought 33 of his guns in the past year, and that didn't set off any kind of alert. How is no one keeping track of how many guns people own? There is a real law in Texas that says it's illegal to own more than 6 dildos. And I get why. No one needs that many.
Why is it so hard to get gun control in this country? I mean, who are these delicate snowflakes that we can't just tell, no, you're not allowed to have 40 guns anymore, Earl. From now on, you can have 1 gun, max, and 6 bullets. If you can't hit what you're shooting with 6 bullets, then you don't be sick of this narrative that Americans just love guns so much. It's not true. 78% of Americans don't even own a gun. And 3% of Americans own 50% of all the guns in the country. That's the problem, that whiny 3% that needs to feel secure all the time. That's why I think Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, said that he wants Congress to look into some proposals for gun control, but first he wants to look into this briefcase from the NRA.
What struck me as being kind of odd, other than the fact that they want to talk about dildos and make fun of people who own cats, is that they really don't understand how gun people work. Just because you don't agree with what somebody collects does not mean that they should not collect it. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I have never killed anyone. I've never broken any laws other than maybe some speeding tickets. I've never been aggressive. I've never had any issues like that whatsoever. So nothing would or can prevent me from buying as many guns as I want to. And nothing should. I should be able to buy any of these guns that I want to because they're for total sporting purposes and for whatever I want them for. Notice I didn't say what I need them for. I don't buy the guns necessarily that I need. I have guns that I need and I have guns that I want. A lot of these guns I want, some of them I need. But it's not for you or anyone else to decide what I want or what I need. That's for me because it's legal to purchase what I have in here. If you want to collect a bunch of dildos, that's your thing. I prefer to collect guns instead. Little bit different there. I'm sure you could wreak just as much havoc with a room full of dildos as I could with a room full of guns if I were some kind of a criminal or deranged lunatic. But I'm not. I would be willing to bet that if you put me collecting guns next to somebody like you guys that are on Saturday Night Live collecting dildos, that people would think I'm a little bit more normal than what you are. Friends, the left is never going to be okay with you and I having things that are going to harm absolutely nobody. There's not one gun in here that will ever do any human being any harm whatsoever if that person is not trying to do me harm in the first place. We really do need to talk about the issues out there. And I don't want to mislead anyone. I'm not talking about a gun control issue. I'm talking about this talk, this conversation that everybody is talking about that we should have. We really do need to have it. The left doesn't really want to have it. My point is, there are 30,000 gun-related deaths per year. Now that sounds like a great number. That's what the left is using. 20,000 of those 30,000 gun-related deaths are suicide by guns. You don't hear the left talking about suicide. If way more of those are an issue, there's way more people killing themselves with firearms, how come we're not trying to deal with the real problem, which is not the gun that they use to kill themselves? Because if a person is really dedicated to killing themselves, they will find a way. But we're talking about the gun. We're not even trying to help the people. Doesn't that make you realize or make you think that they really don't care about the people? They really don't. They're more focused on the gun than the people who are killing themselves. That's a travesty that we just don't have the care involved enough to go back to what the root cause of the problem really is, not the fact that they wanted to kill themselves and they found a gun. Let's go back to A. They wanted to kill themselves. Why? What are we doing about that? What are we doing about medication? What are we doing about the seriously mentally ill? Nothing. The left doesn't want to touch that. Now, that's 20,000 gun deaths out of the 30,000 a year that we have in the United States. There's about 10,000 left. And again, I'm rounding these numbers up or down only by a couple of hundred to make this easier. So there's 10,000 gun deaths left. 10,000 left out of that 30,000 that are truly non-suicide gun deaths. A handful of those are accidental shootings, somebody dropping a gun, somebody cleaning a gun, and they kill themselves or somebody else. Under 1,000 of those. So that leaves us with 9,000, okay? 80% of that 9,000 are gang-related homicides. That's 7,200 gang-related homicides. Did you know this? Did any of you guys know that? Even you gun grabbers out there, did y'all know that? Of course you don't believe the number, so you're Googling it now. Make sure you confirm that I'm correct when you come back after you've Googled this, because I'm right. So you're telling me that you're okay with 20,000 gun-related suicides, and you're telling me that you're okay with 7,200 gang-related deaths that are definitely all in your districts, because I can promise you the vast majority, if not 100% of these gang-related deaths are all in your districts, lefties. They're all in yours. So you can't blame that on the guys on the right, even though I don't trust those guys much either, but you can't point to the right on this. It's you guys. It's your problem. It's in your backyard, but you're ignoring it. These same people that you were ignoring, and you're ignoring their families and their loved ones who are getting mowed down in the streets out there because you're ignoring it, are the same people who vote for you. What a beautiful thing for you, right? You can ignore them and focus on something else that gets you paid through Bloomberg money. Yeah, that's what I said, Bloomberg money. You're talking about the guys over here like the Paul Ryans who are getting NRA money from the lobbyists, which is totally legal, and you guys are getting at least, if not more, from Bloomberg. Don't think that we don't know this. We all know this. We know you guys are getting paid for that. So you're getting paid to ignore 7,000 gang-related deaths in your own communities. You're getting paid good money to devote your attention somewhere else and ignore that problem. That's pathetic. You guys focusing on the NRA, who schools people, who educates children on gun safety. We like to talk about gun safety. You guys talk about gun control. If we're going to have a real conversation, all of us, including me, we have got to put our differences somewhat aside. Now, you can't walk into the room with your name tag that says, "Hi, I'm John, I support gun control," because the conversation's over at that point. Conversation's over. That's not the root cause. We all know that's not the root cause. That's not the root cause. A gun is not the root cause of the problem. When you're talking about almost 28,000 deaths, gun deaths in America, 28,000. When you're talking about that many gun deaths that do not involve non-suicides and non-gang related issues, why are we talking about wanting to ban things and limit things that these same people don't use? Let's really start the conversation. I'm okay with it, but we have to start the right conversation. Talking just to talk doesn't mean anything. We have to talk about the real issues. And you know what? I'm open-minded enough that if those issues involve guns, hey, let's talk about it. I'm okay with that. But we have to talk about everything that's a problem. Everything that's a problem. You cannot come in here and cherry pick the least significant and the least harmful thing that's happening in America that involves guns and say that's the problem, and totally ignore the huge majority of problems that are really the problem and bypass the root cause of those issues and jump straight to guns and say we need to talk about this. If we're going to talk, we need to talk about everything. You got my email address. Email me. I'm in. I'm game. I'm ready. Let's have the conversation.